Böyle bir şey olabilir mi ya? Dereye bak. Nasıl taştı? Her taraf su, sel, arabaları götürüyor sel. Allah'ım sen yardım et ya. Giriş katta oturanlara, bodrum katta oturanlara.
When Storm Byron swept across Greece this December, it didn't just bring bad weather. It delivered a shocking display of raw power that no one in Attica was ready for. What was expected to be a night of heavy rain transformed in a matter of hours into one of the most chaotic urban flood events the region had seen in years. Before sunrise, more than 12 inches of relentless rainfall had swallowed major highways, stranded drivers inside their vehicles, and plunged entire districts into darkness. In Magara, Mandra, and Nea Peramos, streets vanished beneath fast-moving torrents that tore through neighborhoods with brutal speed. For many residents, the scenes felt painfully familiar, echoes of past disasters that had never truly healed. Lightning carved through the sky as emergency alerts rang out at 4 a.m., signaling what tens of thousands already knew. This was no ordinary storm. Behind every flooded street and every desperate rescue, an old truth resurfaced. Despite years of warnings, Attica remained dangerously exposed. The first catastrophic surge hit shortly after midnight. Rainfall intensified so quickly that some districts were underwater in mere minutes. Western Attica took the brunt of the assault. Mandra, Magara, and Nea Peramos were battered by torrents that swept debris, vehicles, and tree branches into already overwhelmed drainage systems. Emergency responders were drowning in calls. Over 290 requests for water pumping, dozens for tree removal, and urgent rescues from flooded ground floor homes arrived within hours. Motorists were trapped along major arteries like the Athens, Corinth Highway, where cars disappeared beneath rising water. Long stretches of the roadway had to be shut down, leaving drivers stranded in endless, motionless lines as the storm raged around them. At 4 a.m., Greece's National Emergency Alert System delivered a chilling message. Move to higher floors. Avoid all travel. Follow official instructions. Many residents had seen that message before and feared exactly what it meant. As Byron hovered over Attica, dumping wave after wave of rain, panic spread. Basements filled rapidly. Elderly residents were trapped. Families with children waited in darkness, listening to the roar of water rushing through streets that looked more like rivers. By dawn, even northern Athens, typically less vulnerable, was paralyzed. Major avenues like Kephygias, Mesogean, Singru, and Posidonos were submerged. Dozens of traffic lights failed. Commuters were locked in gridlock, unable to move as emergency crews battled to reach the hardest-hit areas. In Mandra, memories of previous deadly floods returned with heartbreaking clarity. Videos circulated of cars drifting sideways, torrents ripping down Icarus Street, and the Aia Ikaterini stream overflowing with violent force. Homes repaired after earlier disasters were once again underwater. Public transit collapsed. Part of Tramline 7 shut down due to flooding, leaving passengers stranded. Pumping stations struggled to keep up. Storm drains overflowed, and power outages spread across multiple districts. By early morning, Attica's emergency alert system, the 112 service, issued repeated warnings telling residents in Mandra, Elefsina, and Magara to abandon basements immediately. In neighborhoods like Laka, Kaladra, and Almiri, families woke to their phones vibrating and their homes already filling with water. They grabbed documents, medicines, and essentials before fleeing upstairs. Elderly residents had to be carried out as the water kept rising. Rescue teams navigated submerged streets in inflatable boats, searching for people stranded in cars or hanging onto balconies. Despite the scale of the disaster, authorities reported no casualties during the peak of the storm, a miracle many credited to the rapid mobilization of first responders and timely 112 alerts. But Attica was bleeding. Main highways turned into churning rivers. Cars floated, Buses stalled, and entire stretches of asphalt disappeared beneath swirling brown water. Drivers abandoned vehicles and fled on foot. The Athens-Corinth highway was temporarily closed near the Elefsina atolls after debris and floodwaters made passage impossible. Even when a single lane reopened, traffic barely crawled. Across Athens, failed traffic lights plunged intersections into confusion. Public transport collapsed again. Tram Line 7 flooded, an IDAP water well malfunctioned, and passengers were left stranded with no information. For thousands, the morning commute became a survival ordeal. Emergency services entered full crisis mode. Teams worked in waist-deep water, escorting elderly residents out of submerged homes and pulling families from trapped vehicles. Police blocked off collapsing streets. Mudslides crept toward residential areas. Inflatable boats replaced ambulances in many neighborhoods. Yet the storm kept testing them. Blocked roads slowed response times. Strong currents threatened rescuers. The scale of the disaster stretched resources to their limit. And for the millions living in Attica, Byron was not just a storm. It was a night of fear that will be remembered for years. Residents in Mandra, a town scarred by tragedy, watched as their streets transformed again into violent rivers filled with debris. Some filmed from balconies. Others raced to save pets, elderly relatives, or drifting cars. In Magara and Nea Peramos, families spent the night on rooftops, listening to storms slam into metal shutters. Many said it felt like the sea was invading the city. Power outages plunged entire neighborhoods into darkness, lit only by the violent flashes of lightning. Thousands were trapped on major highways, where water swept across the asphalt. Parents comforted terrified children. Strangers shared food, blankets, and phone chargers. First responders pushed through exhaustion, knowing each call could be a life-or-death situation. When dawn finally broke, helicopters circled above muddy streets. Homes stood waterlogged, and the extent of the destruction became undeniable. Yet amid the chaos, the resilience of the people of Attica shone through. Neighbors pulled submerged cars out together. Volunteers delivered food to families cut off by flooding. Firefighters worked long past their shift to rescue as many people as possible. But as the water receded, a harsh question lingered. How many more storms like Byron can Attica survive without real change? This disaster is a reminder, in Athens, New York, Los Angeles, or anywhere in the world, that the climate crisis is not theoretical. It's here, it's accelerating, and it's rewriting what preparedness means for modern cities. If you want to stay informed about severe weather around the world and understand the real stories behind the headlines, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Your support makes a difference. Stay aware.